Sid from Sid's Trains here, and welcome to O-Scale Layout Update number 5. So it's been a while since I've done a video for the channel, and there's a couple reasons for that. I had a track season that came about, which I wasn't expecting. My coaches wanted me to still run track, and I wasn't really planning to due to COVID, but I decided to run track, and that got in the way of me making videos. I didn't have very much time during the week, so I didn't have time because of that. Also, my school was wrapping up. I've graduated from high school, and that was getting in the way. And then also recently I was just certified as a lifeguard, so there were just lots of things getting in the way of me having time to make videos and talk about my trains, the layout, and anything else train related that's going on in my life. So that's why I haven't made videos in a while, but I've made some progress in the layout. I have got a lot more trains since the last time I've made a video, so let's go take a look at all of that in today's video. So starting out with the elephant in the room, the outer loop is now elevated along most of the track. You would have seen this in, I believe, my Hudson video, and possibly some other videos, and on my Instagram. So if you haven't seen any of those, the outer loop is elevated, and let's go take a closer look at what I use to make it elevated and talk about the grades and other things. So to start out, I'm just going to talk about what this foam product is, and then we'll talk about the grades and then some future ideas I have for the grades themselves. So starting out, this foam product is a Woodland Scenics product, and they're just called incline-decline sets. You buy them in packs, and they come in different widths and heights and grades. I got the 3% grade and the 2% grade for my layout because that is what would work in the space I had. It goes up to around 3 to 4 inches, and it goes over, of course, a certain length. This is the 3% grade, so it's a lot steeper than the other grade on the other side of the layout. My plans for this side is for there to be a mountain over here on the left. I have an old mountain around this corner, you can kind of see it. But I plan for there to be a mountain here, and a mountain in that corner as well. And then for this track to kind of be built into the mountain and then to droop off to the side so that these trains can get by. And I also plan to, of course, cover this in likely plaster cloth because the foam looks kind of silly. Currently, the foam is not adhered to the table. It is just being held down with little pins because I have not found where I really want it to be in the end. And I also have just recently got this. All my friends will say, oh, you've had it for a long while, but it's still pretty new to the layout, and I want to get it just where I want it to be so that when I do glue it down, it's in the right spot. So over here is where the two tops of each grade come together. This is going to be a bridge in the future. Currently it's being held up by some wooden blocks that I have, but I do plan to have a girder bridge here in the future to model a bridge that is close to me in real life and is actually a railroad bridge. A CSX line goes over it in real life, but of course my layout's not totally modeling CSX, but I just want to model some things for my... So moving along, you can see here's the other side of the grade where the Unshrouded J is sitting. As you can tell, it's not as steep. If I turn my camera over to this side, this is much steeper than this over here because this is a 2% grade. The other side is a 3% grade. It's kind of accurate for there to be a 2% grade. 3% grades are not very accurate in real life. However, this is still model train, so I'm able to take some liberties and not do things the way they really are in real life. And it's not really that noticeable. Plus, my trains are normally running the way the Unshrouded J is, so they're not going to have any troubles getting up or down the grades. So my plans over on this side of the layout are for there to be a mountain where the Pennsylvania Railroad coal cars are, and for it to continue to the left towards the Norfolk and Western Unshrouded J. I plan for there to be a tunnel portal probably around the Peabody cars over on the right near the center of the windows, and then for the lower track down where the daylight was sitting, for there to also be a tunnel, but for it to not be as long, because I want it to be able to come out and go in the tunnel at different spots. So it's a little more interesting, and for it to just seem more real. In real life, the tunnels aren't always perfect. Some go in at one spot and then others go in at another. So I do plan for it to be like that. If I turn the camera over to where the daylight is sitting, I plan for the trains to both come out of the tunnel right about here, and then for there to be the bridge and kind of this valley looking scene right here with the mountain here, and then the other mountain that will be here. So there'll just be this valley here, which I think will be very interesting, and it'll create this cool scene for the layout because my town and my yard facilities will be in this valley, which I think will be really cool. So moving on from the grades on the layout, we are moving to the engine facility on the layout. You guys have seen these tracks sitting here for a long while, along with this Atlas track, and it's just been sitting here. I've had engines sitting on these tracks, and this is the future spot for my roundhouse and turntable. I've talked about building a custom turntable, which I am going to do. However, the first custom turntable that my dad and I are going to build is likely going to be a Lazy Susan kind of style turntable. It will be temporary, it'll sit above the table, and just have some rails on top for it to spin around and for me to pull trains in and out of these stall tracks. That will allow us to get all the stall tracks set up where we want them and everything in place. Once everything is in place, we then can cut a hole and build the full custom turntable that I want, which will likely be a 36-inch turntable because I want it to be really big, to hold the big boys really well. Anything that is made in the O-scale industry, I want it to fit on this turntable, so that's the idea behind it. And for the roundhouse and some of the other stuff going on the turntable and this area, I don't know yet. I might buy a kit for the roundhouse, I might build one myself and make it completely custom. I might use an old kit and kit bash it. I don't know yet, but I'm definitely looking forward to this facility coming together more. And I do have things coming. I have a yard tower that will be coming that will likely sit right about here, and I'll show you that in the next layout update. And I also plan to get a coal tower that I would like to put around where the Challenger is sitting. I want it to be on the approaching track for the turntable, because steam engines will leave the turntable, get coal, and then head out to the main line. And I would also like to get a MTH water column because yards usually had a water column, so I plan to have that. I don't know what I'm going to do with this water tower. I might keep it, I might just take it off the layout, I don't know yet. And same thing with this floodlight tower. I don't know if I'm going to leave it there or take it off. It'll probably be taken off the layout because it's not scale and it's super bright, so for now it'll probably just sit there, but at some point it will probably be taken off the layout. Moving on to the yard here, I've been having a lot of fun doing switching operations with the yard. I can store these reefers or some of my other cars, coal cars, whatever it is. I can store a decent sized train in this yard here, and it's fun to use, whether it's these AC6000s or a steamer or whatever it is, to do some switching operations and build trains just using the trains and possibly my hand to undo a coupler. But it's a lot of fun doing switching operations, and I've been enjoying that a lot. And once I do have the switches hooked up with command control, it will be even easier. But something else that's new over here is this Menards American Materials kind of grain elevator. looking building. I got this from a friend of mine, and like all other Menards buildings, it lights up and has an animated sign. And if I flick a switch over here, it'll turn on. And you probably hear this kind of high-pitched whine. That's something that Menards buildings do. They have very cheap power supplies on the inside, and because of that, they make this kind of high-pitched whine. But I'll get you some close-ups of the building. But that's about everything I have over here in this yard. I've had this for a while now, so it's nothing really new, but I've just been enjoying it and actually using it for what it's for, is to store cars and do switching operations. Currently, I have this Lionel operating water tower sitting next to the inside loop. I do plan to have a water tower here because they usually had water towers on the main line. However, I don't expect it to be this one because this one, unlike my other 38 water tower, doesn't have the water effect and is kind of loud, so I probably will not leave this here. But this is just giving me the kind of rough idea of what things will look like right here on the layout. And I really like the look of a water tower here. Next to it is a Woodland Scenics little shack that I got from that collection I acquired. And it looks really good. It even has this little set of stairs and a deck on the side. So I will probably be putting that somewhere near the yard in the future and also install lights on the inside. But currently it's just sitting there with this K-Line truck. I think it looks really good, and it will definitely find a home on the layout somewhere. So this is going to be the town on my layout, and I've been getting lots of comments and compliments on this, and I really think it looks good, and based on your comments and compliments, you guys seem to like it as well, and it really makes the layout look more filled in, not as like just open and desert looking. It fills in this large open spot of the table. And in the future there will be scenery, of course, and more buildings, but this is just the start of the town. Those buildings in the back came from that collection I got. They are Woodland Scenics fronts that have been painted and detailed, and I will likely add LEDs to the inside and possibly some interiors. The cars sitting on the layout are for the most part scale. Some are a little large, and then the truck that is in the center of those two buildings is a Menards truck with lights on the inside. It is not currently hooked up, but it all looks really good. And then I have my flagpole in the center, which is a Lionel flagpole with the LED lights, and then next to the American flag is a Boy Scout flag below that. And over here, where these cars are, is going to be where my passenger station will be in the future. I will show you my passenger station kit in a couple minutes, but I really like the way this town is looking. I have more accessories coming in the future. Over next to that Milwaukee Road baggage car will be a crossing, and I have some right-of-way industries signals coming, which will look really good there. And overall, I'm just enjoying the way this looks, and I can't wait to start doing scenery. So this is going to be the passenger station kit that I will be using on the layout. It roughly will depict the station that is in my hometown, and I will be painting it a different color than this gray, brown, and kind of creamish tan color. I'll be painting it in a green and kind of black and red paint scheme, and then of course weather it so it doesn't look so bright and shiny. And I'll add lighting and interior detail. But this is the style of station that is in my town, especially in the past. Now this side part is just a loading dock, but in the past there was this station platform. And even on the inside there are little decals that you can apply to the side of the building, and there's like a MARC train one, a Metro one, and a bunch of others. and it's just really cool to see these old logos. And I'll probably apply the MARC train logo because MARC is a local commuter line in my area. I will probably be doing videos on me assembling this and painting it and weathering it, and I just can't wait for this to be finished and put on the layout. This is, of course, my Lionel number 38 water tower with the water on the inside that goes up and down. This will be staying right here. I like the look of it on the main line, and it just gives this side of the layout some character and action. Currently, I don't really know what I'm going to be doing over here. I've had a bunch of different ideas, possibly a concrete plant, which used to be in my hometown, just maybe a set of sidings with a little industry in the background, or sidings for steamers and diesels. I don't know yet, but for now I just have it as a storage track. And then in the background, those are some building flats that also came from that collection. So this is my MTH Rail King Pennsylvania style signal bridge, and I had shown it in some other videos and you saw some trains running underneath. But just recently I got the extra signal heads for the center two plugs, and it looks really good with them on there. And I reinstalled it over these tracks because I had been working on the elevation, so I took it off. But it looks really good right here, and it will probably stay here when the layout gets scenery. And of course I'll hook up some sensors so the lights actually work. So this is the National Power and Light Factory that I had shown off in my Menards unboxing video before. However, it hadn't been hooked up in that video, so if I flick a switch, there we go. And like I said with the other building, you hear this kind of high-pitched whine. That's from the power supply on the inside, and there's not much I can do about that. That happens with pretty much all Menards buildings, but it looks really cool in here. The flashing lights on the top right, all the lights on the side of the building, and then of course the National Power and Light sign flashes and does this animation, which is really cool. And it just gives this very animated look to this corner of the layout. I love this building, and it will definitely fit in with my theme of coal on the layout. Moving on to new items in the collection. This is the first big item that has been added to the collection. It's this full daylight set. It includes a Lionel Legacy GS4 number 4436. This was made around the 2008-2009 period. It's an amazing engine. It's from a time period in Lionel's history when they were making fantastic engines, amazing quality, amazing sounds. It just runs really well, and I've been enjoying it a lot. Behind that is a MTH auxiliary water tender. It just fits really well with this and was part of the auction lot. And then behind all of the engine and the water tender is 5 Lionel heavyweight passenger cars in the daylight paint scheme. There's a baggage and a passenger combination car, a regular passenger car, I believe a sleeper, a Station Sounds Diner car, and then the observation car. And the Station Sounds Diner car, of course, has sounds in it, departure and arrival sounds, clickety-clack sounds, and other sounds that you can play while the train is moving. And it just sounds really cool. I will be doing an overview video of the set because I just think it's such a gorgeous set, and it's something very unique. You might just think it's another daylight, but with all the new GS series engines that came out from Lionel, people have kind of forgotten, at least in my opinion, this daylight and these cars, so I definitely want to show them off and show you what other kind of daylights there are. There's not just the Vision Line daylight engines, there are other GS and daylight engines on the market, especially really nice ones like this one. So another large item that I've got recently is this right here. This is an MTH PS2 Y6B, of course in the Norfolk and Western paint scheme, and it's cab number 2174. There's a kind of an interesting story behind this engine because you would think it's a PS2 engine, so it has Protosounds 2 and runs on DCS. However, it does not. It runs with this thing. That's all I'm going to say for now. Stay tuned for more videos on this engine, and you'll be seeing it probably running in the end of this video, and that'll give you a sneak peek of what's to come with this engine. So, enough said with this thing. Let's move on to some other stuff I got. So moving on to the next item, this is a Lionel Jr. Mikado that has TMCC in it. I did not buy this item. I was kind of given this item as payment for some work that I will be doing on a customer's engine. They did not have a lot of money at the time and decided they'd rather just give me this engine as payment. And it's a decent engine. It's been weathered in kind of a funky way. Not all the electronics work the way they're supposed to. The chuff is kind of intermittent. It sometimes chuffs, it sometimes doesn't. The smoke unit needs to be rebuilt, and then it needs a new headlight. Other than that, it runs fine, and I don't think I'm going to be keeping this engine for myself. The customer said I could do whatever I want with it. They don't really care about it, so I'm just going to offer this item for sale. If you guys would like to buy this item from me, I'm going to leave my email down in the description of the video, and you can email me if you're interested in buying this engine. And I can give you all the details on what's wrong with it, what works, what doesn't, just all the stuff you need to know if you're going to buy it. So moving on to some rolling stock. This is a Weaver Models Northeastern style caboose in the Norfolk and Western paint scheme. I picked this up recently because I have all these big N&W steamers, but I have no cabooses for them, so I thought I'd pick this one up. I like the paint scheme. I will be adding LEDs to the inside of this one, similar to the one I did on one of my Workbench Wednesday videos, and I think in the end it'll look really good. So I've also picked up these two Norfolk and Western Power Tenera passenger cars. These go with the Power Tenera set that I did a video on a couple weeks ago, and it just makes the train longer and just looks more full instead of a shorter 5-car train. So before we get into the running session at the end of the video, I want to show you a little update I've done to my Uncharted J. I've changed the whistle on it because I didn't really like the old high-pitched whistle as much as the whistle I've added to it now, so let me start it up and show you the new whistle. So that's the new whistle on the J. I kind of like the deeper tone to it, and I think it fits the engine a lot better than the old whistle. But for now, let's move it out.
Next stop coming up.